Hey folks, thanks for stopping by and welcome back to my YouTube channel Czechoslovak Gun Stories. My name is Kuba and in today's episode we are going to discuss another updates on the Czech gun laws. First things first, let me apologize that once again this episode will not be about any interesting Czechoslovak firearms design or about the Czechoslovak firearms designer or any other interesting information about guns in the Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic from the technical perspective or historical perspective, but I think this topic needs a lot more explanation than I provided to you because I got a lot of questions, a lot of maybe remarks regarding the previous video on the Czech gun laws, and you can also find another video I published like a week or 2 weeks ago regarding the Czech Second Amendment-like legislation. I explained why it's not the Second Amendment as such, but it's a very important stone in the structure or the brick in the structure of the future Czech gun laws. You can see the video here. And today I've decided to make another video because a lot has actually happened in past 2 days regarding the Czech gun laws, and so I would like to give you just a short update on that. So as I mentioned previously, both houses of the Czech Parliament are right now very pro gun owners, pro legal gun owners. So we are actually quite lucky that we have some sort of protection from the European Union gun grabbers and the tendencies to stricten gun laws across the Europe and restricts more and more items here. So I mentioned also that there's going to be sort of what we call a mini-novelization of the Czech gun laws. If you haven't seen my previous video on Czech gun laws, you can see it here. I mentioned that it is almost perfect. Unfortunately, the European Union is trying to force us to stricten the gun laws, so we had to take some action, and the result is the mini-novelization. This video will not be about this mini-novelization, but just wanted to let you know that just yesterday it passed the second house of the Czech Parliament, the Senate, and it passed by a large majority, and there was actually nobody voting against the legislation. You can see the results on the screen right now. So I'm happy for that because it should come into existence, and it should start working sometime next year. I would say by summer, let's say. So what it brings us, I will not discuss it in details in this video, but just for you to know, we should be allowed to get suppressors, silencers, whatever you prefer. Also, there's gonna be a little more administrative work for like high capacity magazines or a couple of other items that are now restricted under the European Union legislation, but as a result it's just gonna be an administrative step that will be necessary as an extra for the Czech gun owners, but there's not going to be any case of seizing the restricted items or that the restricted items would be unavailable for us. No, it will just require a little more administrative work, but as a result we get silencers legalized in the Czech Republic. It will be available on the market just fine for the civilian gun owners, which was not the case in the past. So it's sort of a victory for us. However, there's just one more legislation that was passed right now, just today, I don't even think it was a couple of hours ago, a couple of minutes ago probably, and I will not probably be able to translate the name of the legislation for you to English because it's so complicated. So let's say that this new legislation should update the perspective of a single a civilian gun owner and the relationship between him and the state. So the new legislation will do a couple of things. So the first thing, which may be a little, let's say, strange or weird for you, maybe wondering why we are considering a positive change, but it will it will ban all the sort of politically motivated militias. But yeah, calm down. It's nothing negative. It's just that in the Czech law currently, there is just no way to sort of ban the political organizations where those hardline communist organizations or neo-Nazis organizations or Islamist organizations, where there will be like legal gun owners, right? So if you have such organization, like let's say a neo-Nazi organization, and you have legal gun owners there, and the organization says that there should be some armed action taken against the democratic principles of the country for whatever reason, or the same with communist organizations. Look at for example Ukraine, right? A group of their citizens just got annexed to Russia with their cooperation. So if a group like this popped up in the Czech Republic and said, hey, we want to be annexed to Russia as well, and this organization would comprise of legal gun owners, then the authorities can just simply ban the organization and go after the legal gun owners, etc., for spreading whatever extreme political views. So communism, neo-Nazism, Islamism, all those disgusting things. But on top of that, more importantly, it will improve the position of a legal civilian gun owner from the state perspective. Right now, if there's a crisis like some invasion or series of terrorist attacks, and the army and police do not have the capacities to provide protection for all the people, they are not allowed to use the civilian gun owners. It's not possible. There's no legislation that would allow it. However, they can seize the guns of the Czech gun owners. So if there is a crisis, the state can come to your home and seize your weapons so that they use it for the defense of the country. Right now, this situation will change completely. The state will not be allowed to seize your weapons, but the state will be allowed to integrate a legal civilian gun owner to the defensive organization or to the defense of the Czech Republic. So let's say if there is any critical situation, terrorist attack, whatever, they can use people who pass some basic training, and they will get probably some certificate that they passed training. They are trained in safe handling of weapons. They know all the legislation. They know what are their rights and what are the rules they have to follow, etc. If they pass all that, they get some certificate probably. They will be usable as a sort of a reserve, and that itself is based, and I want to highlight that it's based on voluntary basis. So if you want, you can do that. If you don't, you don't have to, and there are no negative effects for you if you decide not to participate. But if you decide to participate, there's going to be a lot of benefits for you, actually, as it seems. Well, it's not all that clear, because right now it's still just a law that's not in active use. So we'll see in the future what's going to be the probable obstacles, something. But how it looks like right now, there is going to be several benefits for you if you decide to become some sort of a reservist. The benefit number one, there's going to be a series of trainings or courses organized by both the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Internal Affairs, who control the police. Ministry of Defense controls the army, and also they will probably give a space for private agencies, private organizations that want to provide training as well. If they pass the requirements by the state, they will also allow to provide the trainings for whoever is actually interested. I suppose there's going to be a paid range of courses, as well as a course that's going to be organized by the state, maybe for free. We will see, not sure. However, the result, if you pass the course, you probably get a certificate, and if you get the certificate, there might be some benefits for you. The benefit number one is that as a reservist, you will be allowed to gain and own and use the restricted items that right now the European Union is trying to restrict, right? So things like folding stocks or telescopic stocks, yeah, right, in the requirements from the European Union, the weapon that is shorter than 60 millimeters, sorry, 60 centimeters, obviously, is gonna be like illegal because it's too small, it's too compact. So all those Krinkovs and short-barreled VZ58s, all those rifles with collapsible stocks may be illegal, but within the new Czech gun laws, you can ask for an exception, and you will be given that because it should work on a shell issue basis. But if you're gonna be a reservist, I don't think that even the exception, which probably is going to be a paid exception, so it may not be needed for you, right? So if you want to use high capacity magazines, that's the same thing. Also the silencers, suppressors, and maybe even the hollow point ammo, because police and military, as far as I know, are using various types of defensive ammo like the hollow points. For the civilian purposes, it's still not allowed, it's restricted, but as a reservist you may have possibility to use such ammo. So that's the benefit number one. You will be able to gain and use the restricted items probably for free. So it will not be like if you don't decide to become a reservist that you will not be allowed to do that, but as a reservist you may be allowed to do that for free. So that's benefit number one. Benefit number two is that since the state will be organizing the courses, it will also give the state the possibility to give some ammo for free to the organizations and the reservists for training purposes. So typically what happened in the past, the state was forced to either get rid of the ammo, so destroy it, if there was some batch of ammo that was not going to be used anymore by the army, right? So we replaced the VZ58s, for example, by the Bren series of rifles. So 7.62x39 is no longer needed for the army in great numbers. So they either send it for free to some other countries, to the people that fight, like Islamic State, for example. So the Kurds, I believe, were given a large batch of 7.62x39 ammo and also some VZ58 rifles that were in stock by the Czech armed forces. So there was just no chance that the civilian Czech shooters would be given the ammo for free for training purposes. There was just no legal basis for that. Now there is, actually. So the another benefit is that if there is some ammo and if it's approved by all the authorities that are involved in the process, it may be given for training purposes to the reservists for free. And also the state still owns a lot of gun ranges, the former military gun ranges, including the long range gun ranges, which are pretty expensive, and there's really not a lot of them in the Czech Republic for like in civilian ownership. So and if there is one, you can go there, but you have to travel a lot because there's just a few of them in the country, and the rent is quite expensive. So right now it will be possible to use probably even the military ranges. So that's another benefit for the reservists. Not sure if it's going to be for free or what will be the conditions. That applies also for granting the ammo for free. There are probably going to be some conditions that will have to be fulfilled, but this new legislation at least gives some legal frame for this support between the legal gun owner as the civilian gun owner and the state as such, right? So the state will be able to support us. And I've actually read some interviews with different politicians from different parties, and they all actually supported this legislation. And I mentioned that it passed in the Senate today. I will once again show you how many votes were for. There was no vote against this legislation, once again, which is pretty pretty good sign, I would say, and this doesn't happen almost at all in the Czech political situation right now. There's plenty of parties in the parliament, and very rarely they come into agreement like this, right? So that's a good sign for us, for Czech shooters. So guys, that's it for today, for the update on Czech gun laws. As you can see, a lot is happening right now, even though the global pandemics is slowing everything down. The Czech political representation is just fighting for our rights, trying to suppress the gun grabbers in the European Union as much as possible. Of course, it has to be done within some legal frame. It's not possible to just say, hey, we don't agree, we don't accept any European Union gun grabbers to poke their noses into our legislation, because this is not possible due to the Lisbon Treaty, which I mentioned in my previous video. So yeah, it has to be done very carefully. We have to be able to defend it. If somebody comes from the European Union and say, hey, your gun laws are still too relaxed for the Czech gun laws, you have to stricten them. So we can say, okay, but we have this legislation in place, it's not possible, sorry. Okay guys, so that's it for today. That's it for some update on the Czech gun laws and the current situation as for the mid December 2020. Of course, there's much more going on in terms of the gun ownership situation in the Czech Republic. I mentioned in my last video there is something called a lead ban that the European Union proposed a month ago, actually. So there's going to be another video about that. I will also make a video about the mini-novelization, so that you know what exactly will be changing in the future in 2021. So just stay tuned, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, like the video, let me know in the comments if you have some questions or remarks or whatever, and until next time.